They just signed Max Fried.
Did they?
8 years.
Well, awesome.
$218 million for 8 years.
Are you like the rest of the family who's up here didn't know who the Red Sox were until they started with the Rays fan? Oh,
So entertain us, will you?
Stole my ace.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'd like to call to order a special meeting of the Summers Board of Selectmen. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 6 p.m. We're in Town Hall Auditorium. I'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So roll call this evening. We have Selectman Meyer on my right, Selectman Schmidt on my left. We have Kim LaFleur, Ops Director, Mike Wissinger, Brian Wissinger, I'm sorry.
Mike, I didn't know he changed his name.
Sorry about that.
You guys are always
We're
together.
close, Brian Wissinger, our Chief Financial Officer, Mike Marinaccio, our Assistant Treasurer, Todd Rowland, our Director of Public Works and Land Use, and Chief David Leonard, our Fire Chief. That's it for roll call. Public comment. A couple of things I would like to mention. I'd like to start off with the fact that we, and when I say we, I'm talking about the Board of Selectmen, we've received, as have other people in town, several complaints about 18-wheelers hauling pig and cow manure in tanks through the town to get to Watchog Road where they spray the fields. And I know about it personally because I hear them about 6:45 every morning when they go by my house. And these things are noisy. They're also, they don't smell now, though. I mean, they fixed the smell problem. I don't know who helped them do that, but they don't smell so.
Maybe it's your noise.
Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe. Hey, that's an age-biased comment.
Well,
Careful here.
Tim,
But-
I don't mean to be difficult, but I lived in Smellington for a long
Yeah,
time
well,
before I moved here.
you know then.
And the big farm there that had all the cows. I mean, I was.
Oh yeah, Mosier Farm.
Mosier Farm, yeah. I mean, we were downwind of that, and you can't do much about it. I mean, we were a mile away or two.
Yeah, well, these are trucks, of course.
Well, we always had trucks too.
Transiting Summers, and the question that's been raised by the complainants in particular has been that they're using Carriage Road as a cut-through to get to Watchog. And the concern is that Carriage Road is of such a nature that it's a safety issue for kids waiting for buses in the morning, for people walking dogs, and then there's another environmental issue with regards to anything that falls off those trucks onto the road, and who cleans that up if there is anything. But the bottom line is we are definitely looking into this, and I'm just going to ask Todd Rowland, who's here tonight, just to comment on what action he's taken. We've got a game plan, and we've responded to several of the complainants and told them what we're about to do. And it's important, I think, that the public knows about this, because this is something that a lot of people in town are concerned about. And yes, we are agricultural origin, Summers, and we do have to. There is some leniency given to farmers. However, go ahead, Todd.
There is, but your points are well taken, and the folks on Carriage Drive have been reaching out to a lot of town departments with their concerns. Our resident trooper was out there a couple weeks ago talking to some of the residents and also witnessing what's happening. Carriage Drive is in between Watchog Road and Turnpike Road, and the trucks are going up Turnpike, turning right onto Carriage Drive, and then turning right onto Watchog, so they're facing in the right direction so they can offload their product on the fields there for their operation. So I get it, and it's a public road. They're not doing anything illegal or wrong, but I understand the residents' concerns. These are large vehicles, and they seem like they're going fast. It doesn't seem like they're actually going fast, but a large vehicle makes a lot of noise, and it looks like it's going fast. That was kind of the observation of some of the police that are out there. Resident Trooper's office is looking into this. The complainant had emailed the Board of Selectmen and had asked for us to look at 3 different options. One is a through truck prohibition, and this street does meet the warrants for a through truck prohibition, which would exclude trucks from driving on it. It wouldn't cause any real problem because Watchog and Hall Hill right there, it's only 1,700 feet long. So that's a consideration. There are some certain processes we have to go through. This board is the legal traffic authority.
Right.
Once the resident trooper's office is done with their investigation and the Department of Public Works will weigh in, fire department will weigh in, all first responders weigh on these types of things. Then we make our report back to this body, and you can recommend it become a through truck prohibition. Then it has to go to the Department of Transportation, Office of State Traffic Control, and they're the ones that ultimately will issue it or not. Once it's issued, then we can sign it and enforce it. That was one of the requests. That seems to have the most legs to me. The second one was to install traffic calming speed humps. The proper way to do that is to put 3, and there are some in East Longmeadow just north of that location. They can be effective to slow people down, although this is a slow, kind of a winding road. They're probably not going that fast. The downside is those tend to be noisy, and once they're installed, the residents tend to hate them. Also, they do affect plow trucks, fire trucks, emergency response. I don't know that would solve much of the problem. It would cause them to slow down, but then they're going to rev their engines up as they're going over because they're
Every
shifting.
town wants speed bumps. Like,
and-
every single neighborhood wants speed
Yeah,
bumps put in.
and that's the other thing. Whatever we decide here, it's going to have an effect elsewhere, and other people are going to see it, so we have to be careful about not doing this everywhere. The other request was to make it a cul-de-sac and close it on the Watchog side. That would require, there's certain engineering standards we have to meet, one of which, and zoning standards, one of which is that no cul-de-sac can be more than 1,200 feet long. This is 1,700 feet, so it fails there. It can't have more than 15 houses on it. There's about 18 houses on it. So there's some zoning requirements for any new development that it wouldn't meet. It's pre-existing, so you have some latitude in that. My other concern is that to put a cul-de-sac in, it has to be a modern cul-de-sac of 90 feet in diameter. We don't have the right-of-way there. We'd have to take land from the property owners to do that, and there'd be a significant cost in building it.
To the town.
Yeah, that would stop the cut-through trucks, but I don't know that every resident would be happy
How
about
long
it.
is this going to last? I'm not trying to be difficult, but how long?
I don't know. I have to reach out to.
It's seasonal.
To them. It's a
I didn't think
seasonal
they're gonna be
thing.
spreading crap
They've
out for
never,
years, right?
it's
That
never
long.
ramped up this much. They've been doing this for years and spreading, but it's usually, they come, it might be 1 or 2 days, and then it's good for a couple months, they might
Right,
do it
right.
again.
It's never been
I don't know
this
why
extent.
it's going on so much. I don't know if they're doing a new
I
process.
mean, we're
or
talking
something.
at least 100 trucks a day.
Yeah,
Really?
but they're going all
100
over the
trucks a
place.
day?
100 and 200. Yep.
Really? That
In
many?
town, yeah, they're going all
I
over
just
town.
through Ellington on my way back from the coast, and I saw 3 of them just on the road going the opposite direction.
100
I've seen
trucks
quite
a
a
day?
few. I mean, I haven't like stopped and counted,
I'm
but I've
serious.
seen
Yeah,
several.
at least 100.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So they're going all over the place. I think a through truck prohibition is probably a good idea for Carriage Drive. We'll have to finish our investigation and then make our recommendations and then go through the process.
Okay.
And then the police will have to enforce it in order to stop them from
I
driving.
mean, it's
on
going to
it.
cause a lot of damage to that road too. I mean, that road is not up to depth.
No, it's a local road.
It's a local, it's not paved, it's not to handle that kind of sustained truck traffic.
Right. My only concern with doing that is, are we pushing the problem down to Cantlewood, which is a cul-de-sac, where the truck's going to turn around?
Yeah.
I mean, the way they could do it is go up Springfield, come across King, and then down. It's longer for them. Are they going to go down into the farm more and turn around? Are they going to go down to the local road, the next local road down, which is a cul-de-sac, and turn around there? And then all of those residents are going to be very unhappy. with
Right.
it. So,
Yeah.
and that, you can't do a through truck
You gotta
prohibition on a
be
cul-de-sac.
careful here.
Not a through road.
So not a lot of options then.
The larger issue here is that that's not the only place in town they bring their
Right.
their crap.
Right.
I mean, it's all along Four Bridges Road. It's up on Georgewood
Yeah.
Road.
Oh, that's always there.
They're running these operations all over the place.
So it's all over town. Now, the one specific location, I believe, isn't that the location they've requested to put this in-ground
Yeah.
type of a thing there to hold
They want a holding
thousands
pond
and
for the
thousands of
sewage.
gallons of this?
Right, and
Because
they're
that's
going
what's in
zoning
that
for
truck.
that.
It's sewage, it's liquid.
Yeah,
And,
liquid manure.
liquefy
They
the
liquefy
manure.
the manure from the
Yeah,
cows and
exactly.
they spread it on the
And
field.
the pigs.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the thing is, we always smell that when they're going down to do Four Bridges. We smell it, and we have to deal with the traffic there too. And then, but, you know, what can you do? I mean, I basically have to say we're used to
Well,
it.
the bottom line is we're doing what we can.
Right. We're
and
looking
that's-
into all
That's
of
the
our.
message I want to
Yeah.
give to people this evening, and we're on top of this. So.
So
All
more
right.
to come.
A couple other things I want to mention
More to
here. Thank you, Todd. Last Saturday, we had the annual tree festival and tree lighting, and it was, again, a tremendous success. The only problem was with snow on the ground. Hey, it's winter time. It's a winter festival. People didn't show up because it was cold. So we had probably fewer people than we had last year. But, I mean, the beauty of this event is, number one, it's become a tradition now. Of course, it was started by the Lions Club back in the 1980s at the fire department. You know, they started out at Kitty Fuller, actually. And after that, after the fire department was built, they moved to the fire department. And we've had it now here for 3 years. So it's been a great success. The Recreation and Leisure Services Department has really been the main sponsor of it, besides the Lions Club. But of course, it's also been assisted by the fire department, by the police department, and by Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Women's Club. It's an event that it really attracts hundreds of people. And it's a great event and something that I think is in Summer's best interest to continue. And the nice thing about it is it brings everyone together in kind of a center of town event. And so it's, just want to mention that it occurred last Saturday night. I attended, and Bob was there as well. And
I think Maureen deserves a real attaboy. She did a
yeah,
great job.
she
of
did
that.
a great job. But
And I also like to thank the police. I was teasing them because it was so cold, and those poor guys were standing out there from 4 to, 7:30. And I said, "You guys going to get a raise?" And they said, "Only if you give us one." But I mean, it was.
you asked the wrong question. I mean, it's like any good lawyer, you got to know what the answer is before you ask the question.
Well, I was feeling bad for them because I was outside the entire time that they were too, and they did not have the coat that I was wearing, and I just felt bad for the guys.
Well, a couple other things I wanted to mention. Thank you for those comments, Bob.
Yeah.
Stuff a Cruiser is a program that we've had ongoing for weeks now in front of the fire department, in front of the police department. That's going to go until the 12th of December. After that, if people still have toys they want to drop off, they can drop them off at Department of Human Services, which has been taking donations as well and buying toys and, again, providing for families that are underserved in town. Of course, we've got a town meeting tonight. Everybody, I think that the Board of Selectmen knows that. One other thing I want to mention is charter revision. This is something that we periodically do here in town. I think it was done 4 years ago. We need to start thinking about initiating a charter revision commission sometime soon, so that we need to think about who we want to put on that commission. The commission really is, the value of the commission is who the players are. If you got the right players, they're going to do the right thing, and they're going to make the good recommendations. So we got to be careful who we put on it, but that's just something I'd like the board to consider, say for the next meeting or meeting after that. We'll think about who to put on there, so.
I know Dave Marty had some ideas about
Yeah.
his position and making it, rather than an elected position, being an appointed position.
Yeah, there are three subjects that I can tell you right off the bat they need to look at. One is, just as you said, whether to appoint or to elect the town clerk. Two is whether to have a town manager, and the first selectman have fewer duties. Another is whether or not to combine planning and zoning, which is an issue that comes up every time they have one of these. And I think those are three I know that need to be addressed, but there are many others as well that many other of us know about, so we can indicate them and save the commission some time and have them think up their own. Yeah.
My wife was on that the last time, and she was deeply disappointed that there were certain people that sabotaged.
Yeah, I mean, good point. Yeah, good point. That's the point I was making. Is that you got to have the right people and the right mix of people to come up with thoughtful recommendations for.
Well, they did.
town.
They came up with thoughtful ones, but then after the fact, people then was able to undermine those recommendations in various ways, which was frustrating because my wife spent a lot of hours, especially her and Graham Van Kernen were on that, committee, and they just got frustrated because they thought they had made some really well-researched, thought-out things, and they called many towns in the state.
I'm sure a lot of work went into it.
They did, but the thing is, then it got undermined at the end, and I hope we have a different way to approach it this
Right.
time.
Well, as I said, the key to this commission is to have the right people.
It's part of the
on it.
process, though. The commission comes up with their recommendations. The town then has a public hearing and comments on that, so then those recommendations can be adjusted. And then those recommendations go in front of the selectmen, where again, they can be reviewed and adjusted. So I'm not so sure undermining is the right word. I think, trying to improve it or adjust it, but doing it in a way where everyone agrees.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what I think. And then in the end, the taxpayers, their citizens vote up or down, so.
That wasn't the part she was upset about. There was some works that was going on internally here.
Yeah.
And
We're talking
that's the
about,
thing.
we're talking about personalities and
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
That's what.
Well,
That's why I'm saying it's important who we put on this
No, I agree.
commission.
I agree with everything you said. I think, Bob, I think your point, I think the question was, how the referendum questions were
Yeah,
drafted,
exactly,
some confusing
exactly.
language. and
Exactly.
Nobody could say who drafted the question. I don't think we still know who drafted the question. And
People that know what they're voting on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some pretty basic stuff here.
That's
But we learned some lessons. I
That's what
think.
we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
Transparent, open, democratic. I think
Great.
everyone's on board.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you. That's it. So we're gonna think about that over the next couple of weeks and try to come up with some ideas on who you think might be a good person to serve. And the Board of Selectmen will be very involved in who that's going to be. The consent agenda, boards and commissions, appointments, we have none.
That'll be the next Board of Selectmen.
Right, okay, finance, transfers and appropriations,
No transfers or appropriations.
CFO's finance report and update.
And so, the first thing I gave you guys is the monthly report, expenses through the end of November. Everything is well on track. We're about a 57% spend rate. Little over what trend would be, but again, a lot of that is led by the transfers. If you eliminated that, you'd be well under the trend rate at this time. All of the budget adjustments have been done, and that includes the appropriations that were approved at the last town meeting in October. So far, we've had an increase in the budget from the original of $114,080.
How much was that?
$114,080.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
So all the detail is there too, if anybody has any questions specifically about them.
Looks good to me. Good
No, it's
report.
great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The last page, I believe, that's in the packet that Kim had put in there, we requested lease quotes for the ambulance that we're planning to take delivery on January, February-ish timeframe. So we went out to bid. We received 4 responses. TD Bank was the lowest. I've since reached out to them and informed them and awarded them the agreement. They're going to put together the contract language, and that should be at your meeting next week to authorize Tim to sign all the contracts and put everything in motion so that.
Is this for an ambulance, you said?
Yes, yep. TD Bank was and over 1% less than the next closest one, which is kind of a shock.
Oh, that is a shock.
Yeah, they were at 4.3, and tax exempt was the next one at 5.4.
Wow.
So that's 2 in a row for TD Bank. The last one that we did was also with them, and they're always very, very competitive with their rates. So,
Well, it's good. It's nice to see that we got some people giving
Yep.
us reasonable rates.
tax bills for the supplementals are set to go out on Thursday.
I was wondering when that was coming out.
1,650 bills, $448,645 increase in tax revenue that we will hopefully see from that.
How much was that again? Sorry.
$448,645.
Can I ask a silly question, Brian?
Yep.
When are we getting paid as Mr. Meyer and myself?
Next week.
Next week. Okay. I use that to pay the taxes. That's why.
Not silly.
I just give the money. They give it to me, and I give it right back.
Reminders went out on Monday for people who had already, their bills were in July, and so a reminder went out to let them know that there's a bill due in January. We've already seen some increased foot traffic in the tax office in the last couple of days and online because of them, so seems to be on a good track. And then the last thing I have, the intercept agreement that we signed with Stafford back in early October. Since then, we've been collecting data. The first invoice went to Stafford Ambulance midway through November. There were 9 intercepts during the month of October that were billed at the $250. Of those 9, I think she said 7 were Medicare, so they also got the $150. The other 2 were, the additional was billed private insurance. There was also 9 intercepts in November, and that bill should be going out in the coming week. And I sent an email today to the town of Ellington, to the leadership there, as well as the chief of the Ellington Volunteer Ambulance, requesting a meeting after the 1st of January to sit down and discuss basically the same contract with them. Their last call volume, October, they had 8 intercepts, and November they had 7. So they're about neck and neck with where Stafford is at right now. Stafford seems to be leaning on Trinity a little bit more, which doesn't hurt my feelings at all.
No, that's good. Glad to hear that.
But if we have one town that's using 9 calls a month and another one using 8, I'd say they should probably pay the same share. So
Yeah, makes sense.
there will hopefully be more to report on that as the start of the year takes off.
Are there any other towns? I mean, Enfield's not an issue because we have reciprocity with them.
Yep.
Is there any other two?
I think the only other intercept she sent me was Willington, and it was 1.
Yeah, that's just a one-off.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, we go there about once a month, I'd say, on average. It's about 12 calls a year to Willington.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, randomly you'll get a, East Windsor or something, but not very
East
often.
Windsor has their own medics too.
Right,
So they're,
right. It's usually when, they're not available. If
I guess
they're
the
on a call.
Massachusetts towns are also a problem, like East Long Meadow, Camden.
Right, so I know we have a bundle billing agreement with one Massachusetts town, but they can't come here, only we can go there, so.
East Long Meadow, I think.
I don't know who it is, but I'm going to reach out to them too and just look at, potentially canceling that, because.
I think what you're doing is entirely in line with what we've talked about for
Yeah.
months.
You're getting things in line, Brian.
No, it's
So that's a good, now that we've settled the situation with Stafford,
Yeah.
Ellington is our next
Yeah.
line of
Yeah.
approach.
Good effort.
Excellent.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Presentation of scheduled payments. I want to make a motion.
I got it right here. I'd be happy to make a motion to authorize the scheduled payments in the amount of $117,598.52.
Second that.
Any additional discussion? I've reviewed them in detail, asked questions, and I have all my questions answered, so.
I'm all set.
Great.
No, I'm all set. Want to take a vote?
Yeah. All those in support of the motion say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Next, updates on boards and commissions, we have none. Pending business, we have none. New business, staff request to hire Erica Pascal as a part-time human resources generalist at $30 an hour at 15 to 20 hours a week with a starting date of January 6, 2025.
It's
It
great.
says four
I was
here.
very impressed.
Is
with
it?
her.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I was very impressed with her. I think she's
That's
going
my
to be,
fault, but.
she's going to be a great addition to our staff.
Yeah, I got a few introductory things I'll mention. The generalist position was posted on Indeed and our website since late September. We've received 35 applicants, which Brian and Kim reviewed. Most applicants were either looking for full-time positions or lacked HR experience. Kim conducted phone interviews with 5 candidates. 2 were invited to meet with the selection committee, which included Selectman Schmidt, myself, Brian Wistinger, Kim LaFleur, and Daniel Urban from the Finance Department. The committee has determined that Erica Pascal is the best fit for the position. Again, Erica's hours will be 15 to 20 hours a week at $30 an hour. Upon successful completion of a probationary period, our hourly rate will be increased to $33 per hour. And as Bob was saying, we conducted the interviews, and my own personal reaction was very positive. She is a quick learner. She's got a very good personality. She's a salesperson, a detail-oriented, great communicator. These are just my notes that I took during the hearing, during our meeting. And she's got a focus on benefits, orientation. She's currently an HR assistant in her current job. She realizes, of course, it's part-time and it fits in well with her schedule. She will focus, her current job, she focuses on recruiting, personnel selection, streamlining the process, orientation and enrollment, and recruitment. So, I mean, she's got pretty good experience. She's very well motivated. She's got a great personality, good communicator. I think she'll fit in well. So,
I think we were very lucky to find her.
yeah, we are, and she's, and Bob said we're lucky to find her. So, with that, we need a motion to,
I'd happy to make a motion to hire Erica Pascal as a part-time human resource generalist at $30 an hour at 15 to 20 hours a week, with a start date of January 6, 2024.
Sorry.
Oh, 2025, yes.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that, yes,
Oh, you did.
yeah. I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention.
Okay, just reading it.
okay. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye. Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Approval of an emergency management director job description. Mr. Rollin.
Yes, I sent this out before. With the resignation of our former EMD, we are looking to hire a new EMD part-time position. So we updated the job description to utilize the new format, and also updated some of the requirements of the job description, including training on FEMA training, which is now going to be required by the state in order for us to get grant money. The new system they're rolling out, they're changing the way they're doing things, and the EMD has to sign the application along with the first selectman for any monies that we get, and all of these training courses need to be completed or need to have been completed or completed in a short time frame for any new EMD coming in. We also updated the responsibilities a little bit. In summers, the CERT team is under the Emergency Management Department, and the EMD would be the director of that team, so that's incorporated in here. The rest of it is really verbiage mostly off of the state's website where they recommend for towns. This is a 20-hour-a-week position, starting pay at $27 an hour. And I'm just asking for approval of this new job description.
So we need a motion for that.
So I had a couple questions. So, I mean, I'm good with the job description. I'm good with all of it. I mean, I guess my question is does it have to be 20 hours a week? And, I mean, number one, is there enough work to have someone 20 hours a week?
Yeah.
And number two, does that limit us in who we're able to recruit? I mean, it seems to me like maybe we should leave open the door that there's a town employee who works during the day and maybe another role and maybe could
Oh, yeah.
take
No,
on some
once we,
additional,
I'm going to put it out to the fire department, police
Yeah.
department.
yeah.
So I'm going to send it out to everyone. My plan is to not rush this, so to speak.
Yeah.
Get, maybe there's volunteer firefighters that are retired or working part-time somewhere that might be a good fit
Yeah.
for this, particularly in the fire service. To look at all of that and see if is there any full-time employees? Probably not. I mean,
Yeah, obviously,
you know,
your point's a good one. We don't want to limit the pool we're
right.
trying to
Oh,
draw
yeah,
from.
no.
But indeed, there is 20 hours of work a week.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that
I mean, it's
person,
the,
I'm aware of it because I've been involved during that.
it's the administrative back end, it's logistics, it's planning, it's training that we're short on. We really need to do more sand tables and
Setting up exercises, yeah.
setting up exercises, all of that kind of planning work. There's a lot of planning involved in the EMD. Operationally, fire, police, DPW will work well together for whatever happens, but for broader, longer picture, large scale, looking at setting up training events, particularly with the schools, with the CERT team, going to the state meetings, interacting with other EMDs around the region. So if Summers has a problem, you pick up the phone and call Don in Manchester and say, hey, I got this issue. Can you help me with this? You need to build those relationships. So there's a lot of that kind of soft skills that would go into this.
And Ann Canoyer's done a great job.
Ann was great. She had we toured the prisons with her connections at the prisons. We hadn't done that in forever. She was working on
Updating
trying to get in
documents.
Woodcrest, look at the group homes, get into there. We want to talk to them about, if there's a power outage for 2 weeks, what do you expect from us? I mean, what are your plans? What do you have for your residents?
Right.
Geisler, same thing. What does your generator look like? Can you run without any power for 2 weeks? The gas stations, those kind of things. Talk to Growers Direct. What are your plans in the event they're chemicals? I mean, they use them. The fire department's intimately involved, but at a larger scale of looking at a large-scale disaster, how are we going to support the fire department, police department? So those kind of planning operations, logistics, do we have what we need? All of that, it's heavily administrative type
Yeah.
position.
But I mean, could the job, like my question would be, say you're a 35-hour-a-week town employee, could the job be done in 10 hours? I mean, I think in the past it has been. I think it could be.
I think there's some problems with that,
It
too.
has been, but it only keeps our head above water.
Yeah,
We've
that's-
never
that's-
expanded on if this, then that. We've
That's the
never
problem
done
we've
any
had.
real sand tables. We've never set up exercises. So you could do it for
This is-
10
this is
hours
the
and
kind
say
of-
and get along I'm doing it now. Probably at
This
least
is the
more
kind
than
of
10
job
hours,
you
but,
do not want to
it's-
shortchange this job
Right.
because of its importance to the town.
And it's an hourly position, so yes, if there's no work, they're not working, unless they're trying to milk the system, which we would keep an eye on. But if,
We've had that in
it
the
ebbs and
past.
flows, there'll be weeks it's 40 hours and weeks they don't come in.
Okay.
Why? Because it depends on what's going on and what's coming up.
I was going to say,
So-
because of the job itself and it being, kind of a director role, wouldn't it make more sense to make it a salary position instead of an hourly to avoid, kind of that they're sitting there with no work to do?
Can you
ebbs
do
and
that without
flows.
offering any benefits in it? Because this position.
Oh,
doesn't-
absolutely. It
You do
doesn't
a
have to be.
0.5 or a 0.4 FTE, whatever the regulations allow.
Right.
I mean, that's the kind
we
of
could do
idea,
that.
like, I
I think
don't,
salary would be a good idea, Brian.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, that's kind of, I agree, like, kind of where I'm going. I mean, we have a full-time fire chief, which we haven't always had. We have a full-time police administrator, we have a
Right.
full-time resident trooper, we have a full-time public works director, full-time ops director. I mean,
You could
We
do the
have-
salary, because honestly, the people, I'm thinking like a retired person that has been in this field and wants to keep their hand in it, and they might work a whole lot more just because they love it. If it's hourly, you get into that where you're paying. If it's
Yeah.
salary, then, it's whatever it is, 28,000 a year. Or
we'd make it like a 0.5 equivalent or whatever
Yeah, we
we're
could do
allowed
that.
to do.
Yeah.
I think we can post it,
Yeah,
and then we can have that discussion, but I don't think we should limit ourselves. I don't want to limit the candidates.
Yeah, good.
well, we could post it as a, yeah, that's true. We could post it as presented and then adjust it as you see
Yeah, I
fit.
think it's always a great idea.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So if you're gonna approve
We need a
it,
motion
and make a
for that.
motion to approve the, emergency management director job description as presented.
Second?
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Rowland, you got the next item too here.
Yeah, this is our annual EMPG grant. I need, the board needs to authorize the first selectman to sign all documents for the application for this year's 2024 federal year's grant. Last year, we received $5,653.45 from this grant. It's the one that comes out every year. We get it just by existing, and the town clerk has to certify all of the verbiage in the.
Almost takes more hours to fill out the grant than the grant is worth. I mean, that's the problem.
Would you have to go back and redo 4 years?
And then we got to worry about grants that we haven't received for the last 4 years from the same outfit.
Well, we just
Yeah.
We just got the 2021 rest of the paperwork in that they asked for, finally. I mean, we've already submitted it 4 years ago, but they asked a couple more times.
Yeah.
Last week, we submitted everything that they had asked for, and we think, hopefully, we'll get paid on that one
Yeah.
in a couple of months.
I mean, you're right, though. I think when we get the new person on board, I think we should look at the level of effort this requires versus the amount of money it is. I mean, for $5,000.
Well, that's kind of why they're changing their plan. They have an online platform they're going to, Civics. All of the grants are going to be there, and it's phenomenal. I went to the class and started doing this year's MPG. It's a great, I mean, it's just,
Much easier.
attend one meeting a year at Demus. I did that last week. Get sworn in, okay. So that, there's 14 points you got to hit. A lot of them you're already doing. The other ones are the training. As long as you get all that done, you get the grant. So it's a lot less onerous than it's been in the past. They're moving all of the grants to that platform. To their credit, it'll be a lot better. But yeah,
Good to hear.
they actually said that at the meeting the other day, is that a lot of these little towns say the paperwork's not worth what we get. It costs us more to do it. So.
Okay. I'm fine with
So
it.
can we need a motion for a resolution authorizing me to sign any documents related to this
Yeah,
one?
I have to make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the first selectman to execute any documents for the fiscal year 2024 emergency management performance grant.
Second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Next is approval of the minutes of the November 21, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2024 regular meeting as presented.
Second?
Any further discussion on the motion? I've carefully reviewed it, and it's,
No, it looks good to me.
it looks good. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 We're adjourned. It is 6:37.